Okay, when you travel to some place, you buy things to remember what is. Some people, when they come to Tampa, they buy T-shirt, Tampa. When Pastor K first came to Tampa, he has a Tampa T-shirt and he took picture and he sent it back to Africa. So they say Tampa, Florida. I say, hey, that's souvenir. What do you call it? Okay, Harvard. Okay, either Arifat or Arifat. It's not my fault, it was God that scattered the language. I didn't scatter the language, God scattered it. Praise the Lord. Amen. And if I have what will benefit you, whether you like it or not, you must listen to me.
That's it. Amen.
Praise the Lord.
Amen.
Because I may speak with accents, I have the revelation.
That's it.
So you may speak with your American accent, you need the revelation.
That's it.
So once you know you need the revelation, you listen when I talk.
That's it. Amen.
Praise the Lord.
Very well.
Because in Isaiah chapter 5 verse 13, the Bible says, my people have gone into captivity because they lack knowledge. And Hosea chapter 4 verse 6 said that my people have perished for lack of knowledge. So I know that God brought me here. So that either I say artifact or artifact. Mine is revelation, yours is your accent. So you have to submit your accent to my accent to get my revelation.
That's it.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. That's right.
And if you are watching me, I need to let you know that there are more mystery about your past, your present, and your future. Close your eyes and pray this prayer. Say, anything done in my past,
Anything done in my past,
affecting me now,
affecting me now,
clear away. In the name of Jesus. Pray, 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 pray. Anything in the past, anything done in the past, affecting me now, clear away. In the name of Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Some European explorers and slave merchants went to Africa and they went to the shrine and the forbidden forest and they collect all the artifacts
and the foreign gods.
from the shrine of demonic gods
Aye.
and they brought them into America. Now, last week I read in the news that most museums in the Europe, how can you say a Museum of France, Museum of Germany, and what inside was from Africa?
Hey.
Is there any way you can relate to that? That is stealing. They stole those things from Africa. But they don't know that some of them are dedicated to demons and wicked spirits. And they took it to their camp to Europe and America to decorate in their museum. And the cause of worshiping other God. Exodus chapter 20 verse 1 says, thou shalt worship no other God except me. It says, affliction shall increase for those that worship other gods. And that is the cause that follow the people. And when they brought those things here, guess who they asked to carry them? The people who are taken as slaves from Africa. And when you contact something that is dedicated to girls and idols and wicked spirits, the cause upon those demons and idols can be transferred to you. Remember when the Ark of Covenant was taken to the shrine of Dagon, the demon behind Dagon and the statues of Dagon fell and crashed into pieces. Do you know what they brought? And they forced your ancestors of those days to carry them. Do you know? If that is the reason why you are passing through what you are passing through as a people of color. Number 4. Causes upon the African American people. Killing of the native people. Killing of the native people. Killing of the native people. On October 12, 1492, a man called Christopher Columbus came from Europe and found a place they call American today. And that is why in October they always have Columbus Day now. This man came from Europe, to be precise, on October 12, 1492. When he got here, there were some people that were living here. The archaeologists and the anthropologists already said that when some people left the Tower of Babel and they went to the south part of the world, which is Asia, some of them now moved again through what they call a bridge. And these people are called Clovis. They are called Clovis. Clovis, Clovis. That's what they call them. They were the settler in America. And they were living their life. They call them, today now, they still call them Native Indian American. Or Native American. That is why one of them was abused by President Trump. And he called her Pinocchio. And that woman became angry. Elizabeth Warren. I don't want to go into that. But what I'm saying is this. There were people here already that were living in this place called America. They were not exposed to the civilization of the Europe. But when Christopher Columbus came on October 12, 1492, and he saw them, he went back to report. And some other explorers also came. And that's how France and Germany and Spain came. That time there was no Canada. Even the place where they call Canada, when you read history, you'll be so shocked. They're the same native people, the Eskimos, and the rest of them that were living between Canada and the USA. They were there already. But unfortunately, for those of you who do not study American history, I did little of it. That's what they call Indian-American War of 1850. And it started from 1672. That is where the lives of innocent native people that were here were wasted and their blood were shed on this face. And they asked the slaves brought from Africa to clear their corpses and their other things which made them to be under a corpse. In the book of Ezekiel, let me show to you what the Bible says. In the book of Ezekiel, Ezekiel chapter 22. And you'll be so shocked what God said about a city that was built by blood. Ezekiel 22. You see it before me. Okay, I'll get it before you. Ezekiel 22. And I read verse 2 to 3. In Ezekiel 22, verse 2 to 3. The Bible says, now, thou son of man, wilt thou judge the bloody city? Yea, thou shalt shew her on abomination. Then say thou say the Lord God, the city shed blood in the midst of it. And a time may come, and make it idol against herself to devour herself. In the book of Nahum, N-A-H-U-M, Nahum, chapter 3. The book of Nahum, chapter 3, is after Micah, before Habakkuk. Nahum chapter 3, verse 1. Woe to the bloody city! It is full of all lies and robbery. They pray, they pardon not. There was a curse already. And who was forced to carry this curse of massive killing of the natives and the blood that was rolling on the floor? Who was forced to bear the curse? It was the slaves that were brought. It It was the slaves that were brought. And the curse was transferred to them. Let me tell you, beloved, this is the past. From biblical points to history of how curses fall on a group of people called by those two scientists categorized as African American. Next Wednesday, we are going to look at the curse of what we call the curse of the European Americans. Then to the under their curse. See, all things that is happening now is a time of judgment, and the curse is working. Questions? I take 2 questions, then we pray. You have a question. You have known your source now. You know where you are coming from. Now you know why some things are not working in your favor. If there's no question, let's rise on our feet. Okay, your question quickly. Ask a question. It's a Bible study.
My question is that we know back in Africa in those days we have some warlocks who go about, also conquering some villages and towns and have some slaves. So I want to find out, when they conquer villages and towns like that, are these part of the slave they sell to the European people, or they make use of them themselves, those warlocks?
Amen. Now, in 15th century, that is when slavery started in Africa. 15th century. And it was because of slavery that started that prompted all these warlords, not warlock, the leaders of war generals, local war generals. It was the slave trade that informed them and pushed them into the expansion of their kingdoms and their territories, that made them to start fighting senseless wars among themselves. From Songa Empire in Mali to the Ewari the Great in Benin Kingdom, to Areno Kakanfo in Oyo Kingdom, because there are great kingdoms in Africa. And simultaneously when the slavery were going on, and there were leaders and great warriors at that time. They have their own fight before slavery began. But their own concept at that time was, once a kingdom is conquered and they get slaves from there, they transport them to the kingdom and the king who sent them. And they have great kings, warriors. Even some of their kings were female too. And they were very powerful. And they were warriors too. But before the people from Europe had contact with them, they treated their slaves very well. Some of them end up even having slaves as wives. The historical background of the Bible, of slaves in the Bible, is similar to those ones in Africa. In the Bible, the Jewish people also have their story of slaves. But their own is that a slave will serve for 7 years. After 7 years, he's free, according to Jewish culture and history. And you can let him go. But if a slave is serving you and has children, this child of a slave is also a slave to you. That's why you remember Abraham. He has a slave girl called Agai, until Sarah said, go into your slave girl and raise a child. But with what happened in Africa before the European got there, they also were under curses of taking themselves slaves among themselves and transporting them from one city to another city. And the reason why curses were there too was because some of them also maltreat their slaves. Like the great woman, a woman warrior called Efushiton in the Oyo kingdom. That woman was a female warrior, but she had no child. And because she has no child, she was angry with God, and she maltreated all her slaves, both male and female. So there were curses on them too at that time. But all these curses, because it is believed that the account of Bible supersede all other stories. Meaning it was dated before other stories. Because all the war, conquest, and war in Africa before the European came all began from 13th century to 15th century. So, and the purpose of the war at that time was expansion of kingdom. Then Portugal, which is Portuguese, English, which is England, France, they all start rising also to expand their kingdoms. What's your question?
Why did the black people have to be slaves?
Why?
Why?
Number one, just show you 4 reasons. One was betrayal. Because they betray one another. That was the first reason. So the people from Europe came with mirror, and they have not seen mirror before. And give one of them mirror, and look through the mirror, he saw himself, oh wow! And they asked him to bring his brother to the river. In order to get a mirror, gunpowder, rum, drink, alcoholic drink. So they started, yes, they started deceiving their brothers, said, come with me to the river. And the slave masters were waiting for them. They captured them and take them overseas. So that's how it happened. But everything began with a curse. And Bible says, curseless curse shall not come. And that's what we're going to pray now. Question?
Yes, sir. I'm just seeking further on that.
Explanation, okay.
You said the offsprings of the slaves are under this curse. Now, as it relates to their salvation experience, these people cannot enjoy the benefits of a true salvation experience unless all these curses are broken from off of themselves.
Now there are two things you are intermarrying, which we must not. Salvation is different from deliverance. The first thing every Christian enjoys is salvation. And the purpose of salvation is to take you to heaven. Salvation does not redeem you from curse. Salvation will not take you away from your battle. For the fact that you are saved does not mean you are not going to fight battle. For the fact that you are saved does not exclude you from fighting the bondage that exists in one's father's life. After salvation, salvation guarantees you the next step of victory, which is deliverance. That is why everyone that is saved must also go for deliverance. And when you go to deliverance, then deliverance will interrogate your past. And when deliverance interrogates your past, it will find where something was wrong. People used to read Genesis 49, where Jacob calls Reuben in verse 3 and verse 5. The people don't remember that before he got to the level of being cursed by Jacob, Reuben has done something in chapter 25 of the same book of Genesis, when his father was still in sorrow of losing his wife Rachel. Do you know, I just discovered recently that Rachel, when he died, he actually died in Iraq. In my family's recently. Rachel, that's why he died. So when you look at the biblical history and geography and everything, then you'll be able to understand why do I need to check myself. Now, what people do now in America is to go and check their DNA. They want to know if I'm part of Europe and part, it's okay. We are all the same one blood. We are the same one race. But after God scattered everyone, there are so many things that happened. A lot of things take place. And one thing about the history of this world is that history will repeat itself if nothing is done to it. Especially bad history. History will repeat itself if nothing is done to it. Especially bad one. Abraham lied. Isaac lied. Jacob lied. Joseph would have lied too. He first lied. He said, leave your brother Benjamin, go and bring your parents. He didn't show to them. Then later he quickly changes. He remembered that if you continue, it will continue. Then he stops. I'm your brother Joseph. So, a bad historical precedent needs to be stopped by the power of deliverance. And if it's not done, there's a problem. How many people in America, people of color, actually know where they came from? You don't know. How many people in America who are Caucasian actually know where they came from? How many of them? You start asking them, some of them say, oh, I don't know. I asked Pastor John the other time. He said, it's Irish, Scottish, and he doesn't actually know. And he sent me a picture recently. I hope this is off recording. Put down off now.